Why don't we start with Michigan Man? Just kidding. Yeah, because I was going to do that. Come on, Michigan Man. Forget it. Never going to happen. Hey, Jack Savage, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be fighting the entire state of Florida right now? Let those hands go, dude. All right, no, it's Monday, so we're going to start with the NFL. And I'm going to start by asking, what a difference a month makes. Am I right, Wisco fam? About a month ago, your Packers were 2-5. Most of y'all were acting like the entire franchise was on fire. Like all of a sudden Lambeau had become a house of horrors. And it wasn't only Wisco fam, even Wisco GM was hesitant to say that Jordan Love was the guy for the long term in Green Bay. Something tells me Goody has got a very different take this morning. Something tells me Wisco fam is seeing the light on Love. Something tells me Wisco fam thinks that they have their guy after watching their guy straight up outplay Patrick Mahomes in prime time to get the Pack back to 500 last night. They are back to 500 and very much in this thing. Really impressive performance from Jordan Love. And that's not some one-off. That's not some anomaly. That's not some isolated incident either. Dude has actually been balling for weeks now. And it's hard to say that he isn't looking the part. The part right now. Guy looks good. Really good. You know, the part of the Packers franchise quarterback. As Keyshawn Nixon put it after the game, Aaron tossed him the keys, and now Love is driving that Porsche. He's driving the Porsche now. He's not wrong either, considering that 2-5 start, considering the injuries on both sides of the ball, considering how young this team is, and considering how hot the Heat got after that rough start. It is pretty amazing where they are. They're sitting in the NFC as the number 7 seed, fresh off going toe-to-toe with the defending champs in primetime and getting over. I mean, who would have saw that at 2-5? That Green Bay win was about as impressive as the loss was alarming for the Chiefs. Because regardless of how much faith you have in Mahomes, it is undeniable that this team has legit issues on offense. Really, for the first time in the Mahomes era, his numbers are down across the board. I'm not saying it's his fault, far from it. But that passing attack just does not scare anybody anymore, which has got to be really scary for Chiefs fan. The passing attack isn't scary, and the defense that was actually scary for most of the season is no longer what it was earlier in the year. So I really don't want to hear from Chiefs fan about the ref show today. Yes, the ref show is the worst show, as always, and somehow, when you believe it can't get any worse, it does. Yes, they missed a blatant PI on the final drive last night. And? So what? They always miss something. They always blow something. That's why they're the stars of their own long-running show, the ref show. Tell me something I didn't already know. What I would like to know is this. Since when did it ever matter to the Chiefs? Since when did the Mahomes-led Chiefs need to cry and beg for flags to win? Since when do the Chiefs need the ref show bailout to win a big game? If that's where you're at, Chiefs fan, blaming the ref show, then you need to get a grip and realize you've got much bigger problems than the ref show. Or maybe that's why you're all fixated on the zebras. Specifically because you don't want to think about those real problems. Listen, I'm not here to throw a bunch of dirt on Big Red. It's my guy. I'm not here to throw dirt on Mahomes or even the Chiefs. But I'm sure as hell not going to sit here and ignore the fact that they've got problems and they aren't what they were. Because they have problems and they aren't what they were. And these problems are nothing new either, by the way. These problems have nothing to do with the ref show. So enough about the damn ref show. Let's talk about the alleged game of the year. Why don't we talk about that for a minute? The game of the year, which turned out to be one of the biggest disappointments of the year, which turned out to be not much of a game at all. The game of the year was basically a gigantic Philly faceplant. Only in Philly could the head coach be out at midfield barking at the other team before the game just to turn around and get his head caved in. Only in Philly could a dude named Big Dom get tossed for getting involved from the sideline. Is that not the most Philly thing ever? Big Dom getting in the middle of something? Of course, the Philadelphia Eagles have a head of security named Big Dom. And of course, Big Dom managed to bait a Niners linebacker into an ejection. And of course, Philly fan gave Big Dom a standing O for it. Again, only in Philly. Way to Philly it up, Philly. Other than the game itself, that was awesome. If only somebody else on that sideline showed up ready for a fight like Big Nick and Big Dom showed up ready for a fight. Hell, Big Dom almost made James Kelly's foster bro, Kyle Shanahan's head explode. I'll tell you what, I always respect a head coach having his guys' backs, but it is hilarious to see Big Dom get that far under Lobster JR's sons or Lobster JR's skin. I mean, even after the game, it sounded like he was getting an aneurysm. He's like, I mean, he was strung out. Big Dom doing his job. Too bad nobody else on Philly did theirs. Credit to Frisco for going in on the road, having a horrible first quarter, dealing with a hostile environment, garbage weather, and Big Dom, and making it look so easy. Save for that 3-game blip, Frisco has been utterly dominant all season. They were utterly dominant again yesterday. They are utterly the most complete team in the NFL. Sirianni and Big Dom wrote checks with their mouths that the Eagles could not cash. But Deebo Samuel backed up everything he ever said about the Eagles in the NFC Championship when he basically said it would not have even been close if Big Clock Brock didn't get hurt. Judging by yesterday, he might have been right. It was supposedly this mystery all week as to why Frisco was favored in Philly. Well, you just saw why. They were favored because they have been playing much better than Philly has. Yeah, I know, Philly fan. You had a really rugged 13-day stretch. I get that. I do. But the fact of the matter is, that's why Frisco was favored, and they should have been favored by way more, which is why the head and I were all over Frisco on the Friday edition of Big Head Bets. Well, actually, the Big Head was all over Frisco because it's his foster fam. I was all over Frisco because I think that highly of him. Which is not to say that I don't think highly of Philly, but Philly had been living really dangerously for a really long time. Of course, it was going to come back and catch up and bite them in the back at some point. Philly did their best to Philly it up.
Something went wrong.
I'll tell you what went wrong, Siri. You're interrupting me during the open. Way to mess with my train of thought. Oh, no, there it is. Philly did their best to Philly it up. But the power of Philly was not strong enough to overcome the power of Frisco. That's not the only power I want to talk about in the open. There was another force at play yesterday. Another force working big time yesterday. That force was the karma. The jungle karma. The jungle karma. Always powerful enough. Don't believe me? Why don't you go ask the kings of karma right now, the Texans? The karma is flowing in Houston, like in canals down the streets, rivers of karma, and along with touchdowns and dubs. That right there was a massive win for CJ Stroud and the Texans to stop these streaking Broncos who had won 5 straight and put the Texans right on the verge of a playoff spot. Ask me, hell yes, that's a playoff team. The Texans, I'll say it again, the Texans are a playoff team. And CJ, this dude just gets more impressive every single week. And not just for what he's doing, but the way he's doing it. With that swagger, with that attitude, the kind of brass set that had him going toe-to-toe with the linebacker who tried to get in a late shot. CJ's a man. I love that. Houston, that right there is your franchise quarterback. Of course the team is in love with that dude. Who wouldn't want to go to battle with that dude? Of course, virtually every one of his teammates came to his defense on the field. I half expected 60,000 Texan fans to run onto the field and have his back. They love this dude, and with good reason. I always go back to that sit-down I had with him on Radio Row last year and how blown away I was with this dude's charisma and his it. And it just keeps growing by the day. And the karma was not only flowing in Houston. Plenty of karma to go around. Jim Irsay's boys have it as well.
Love to see it.
My man, you are welcome, billionaire. You are welcome, billionaire. I love to see it too. In fact, if the Colts keep going like this, they're going to find themselves in the top quartile of the upper quartile of winners.
In the upper quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile. That's rare air.
Huh? That makes even less sense now than the first time I heard it, but it's more awesome now than the first time I heard it. Can I have that one more time, Alan?
In the upper quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile. That's rare air.
So good. Whatever the hell that means. I love it. You're welcome, billionaire. I am more than happy, not that I can control it, but I'm more than happy to dole out the jungle karma to you. Shout out to Michael Pittman Jr. Dude popped into the jungle on Friday and then merely walked it off in OT on Sunday. For even a second, of course he did. Made it look easy, too. The 7-5 Colts. 7-5. They currently hold the AFC number 7 seed, led by their first-year head coach, without their starting quarterback and their star running back banged up. Is it okay to say they're having a really good season yet? Do I need to run this by you, JTP? And by the way, JTP, with all due respect, do I need to run anything by you? Because I'm right about this, too. Some of you were pushing back on that when I mentioned that they were having a hell of a year at 6-5, and then they wanted to know why. Oh, really? Then why are the Bills melting down at 6-6? Nice try, JTP. Now they're 7-5. And by the way, the Falcons also, did we or did we not talk to Desmond Ridder at the end of the week? Did they or did they not win? Jungle karma. Look up at it. It never fails.
Jungle karma.
The Colts now are not the only surprising 7-5 team. As an example, going the other way, I still can't figure out how the hell the Steelers won 7 games. The Steelers have to be the worst 7-5 team ever. And now it's about to get even worse on offense. In fact, way worse. If you can imagine this, it's going to get way worse because they've lost Tiny Hands.
Tiny hands. Tiny hands.
Although, Alvin, I was about to say, you can lay off the alarm because dude is now hurt. Thank you. It's not appropriate when the guy's hurt. It's really not appropriate anyway, but especially when the man is hurt. Now they've got regulation-sized hands in Mitch Trubisky for at least 2 to 4 weeks. And I would say it can't possibly get any worse, but I would never doubt this offense. Not this offense. I mean, apparently running Matthew Nova Scotia into the wood chipper did not solve all of Pittsburgh's problems. And it sounds like their problems are a lot bigger than just who is calling the plays. Check out Jaylen Warren after the game, just casually admitting that they really weren't prepared and didn't take the Cardinals seriously enough. Can you imagine anything more aggravating to Mike Tomlin than one of his guys saying publicly, yeah, we didn't take him seriously enough? Because it's the greatest indictment ever against the coach. And Tomlin's all about that. All about that. No way would we ever take the field anything short of 100% prepared. Man, I can't wait to hear his reaction. We may finally get some straight fire from him on the X. As soon as that works its way back to him, if it hasn't already. I mean, on the one hand, it's not remotely surprising to hear what he said because anybody who watched that game could tell they didn't show up. They didn't take it seriously enough. But again, it's also completely shocking to hear that from a Mike Tomlin-led team who entered the day 7-4 and very much still in it. Again, how the hell has that team won 7 games? And what's going on with those dudes? And how pissed must Tomlin be right now? And here's something even more important really to consider. Why do we have to watch the Steelers play the Patriots in prime time this week? You might not have known that. That's a done deal. Why do we have to deal with Mitchell Trubisky and Bailey Zappi this week in a TNF torture special? I'm already sweating that. It's Monday morning at 9:20 my time, and I'm already freaking out about Thursday night. Why? The league flexed their horrific ass product out of a Monday night with the Patriots. So why have they not done the same for Thursday night? I haven't checked yet, but what's the over-under on Pats v. Steelers? 4? Oh, yeah. Incredible game. Steelers won 3-2. Speaking of over-unders, how pathetic and hilarious was Iowa against Michigan? The Hawkeyes getting shut out was one of the most hilarious, predictable, lucrative things I have ever seen. Of course, because we were all over that. The under. Remember how much fun we had at their expense? Remember the big head and I laughing like hell at the fact that they were 0.5 for an over-under for an entire half in a championship game? And with good reason. They were shut out. Worst offense ever in college. It was funny. It was funny and lucrative. Worst offense ever in college. But Pittsburgh and New England are now vying for that distinction in the pros. Now, of course, we don't know if it's going to be Bailey Zappi for New England, since Hood will never tell us. We just know that whoever it is, it's going to be ass. Wait, there's more. After the game, some chowed journo will want to get in another shot on Hoodman that they've been waiting years and years to deliver. Yesterday, somebody finally got enough nerve to ask if he even wants to be there anymore. Robot's got like 4 programmed answers in him. They just pull the string in his back. You think at one point he would just finally just go off the script and be like, hey man, listen, and tell you how it really feels. Yeah, I'm just looking for the Steelers.
Yeah,
I'm just looking forward to the Steelers.
For the Steelers.
Hey, Hood, this guy just straight up asked you, do you even still want to be there? I think if ever there was a time to warrant you going off the script and letting us know how you really feel, that would have been the time. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the Steelers. Yeah, well, you know what, Hood? You're the only one on the planet looking forward to the Steelers game. If you do want to stay and you want to continue coaching the Patriots, you might want to try to score some points. I mean, you do know that you're still the worst team in the AFC, right? Just checking. Bill looking forward to the Steelers makes that a party of one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this week getting ready for the Steelers.
Table for one. Table for one, please. The only redeeming takeaway from that Chargers game was that it was buried on a Sunday morning and it was not a standalone in prime time. From the unparalleled GOAT to, well, he could be a lame duck. This is not something eyes ever thought they would see. When Bill and Brandon Staley shook hands after that game, I went to that lip-reading app. Have you seen that one? The one with Ime Udoka talking all that junk to LeBron. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. So I went to that same app. and I dropped in the Bill and Brandon Staley discussion when they shook hands. And I think it went something like this. Bill said, good win, kid. And Brandon said, thanks, coach. And Bill said, you know what's a better win? When I blow out of Foxborough in a couple of months. And again, I'm getting this from that lip reading app. Bill said, you know what's even a better win? When I blow out of Foxborough in a couple of months and I rip your job the next day. Hey, you like that? You like that? How's that grab you? How's that grab you? Make sure that fancy office of yours is cleared out by Tuesday after week 18. Nah, scratch that. Start clearing it out right now. I got to find a place to dock my boat. I hear dock slips are pretty hard to come by. Maybe when they fire you, you can be my dock hand. Shine her up. Shine her up every Sunday for me. You know I named her, right? Right? You know I named her 8 rings. 8 rings after Super Bowl 53. Hey, stop trying to get away from me. I'm still shaking your hand here. And when you're not shining her up, maybe you can shine my dog Nike up. Get it? Take that dog for a walk. W-A-L-K. Say W-A-L-K, though. Because old Nike, when Nike hears it's walk time, Nike gets nice. And by nice, I mean he starts taking dumps everywhere. Maybe I'll buy your house, too. Just so you'll be familiar with the area. You know all the best dog parks, right? Huh? Enjoy the win, B. If you can call it that. You know I got more rings than you had points today, right? Right? So who's the real winner here, eh, Chef? Check that, Chief. Hey, wait, are you a chef? Can you cook? I need food, too. Brandon. Yeah, okay, Coach. Hey, do me a favor. Can you let go of my hand? You're starting to creep me out, goat. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to be the first to know when we do upload a new video.